What's up, everybody? I'm coming to you live and remote. I'm literally like outside right now because I'm in Oakland. How y'all doing? What's up, Faith? Thank you for tuning in to the show. I don't have my laptop on me, so I'm using my phone, and so I might go live on screen. I just don't want to because I have to click on all the buttons and everything like that. So I'm not going to be paying attention to the screen. So that's why I don't have the camera on, but I'll turn it on in a little bit. I have a couple of guests joining the show too as well today. I heard this story a few days ago and I wanted to talk about it. Quawan Bobby Charles, Bobby is his nickname, but Quawan Charles was recently murdered. Well, his body was found in a sugar field. They stated that he drowned, but there wasn't a proper investigation done. There was a Amber Alert that his parents was trying to get. What ended up happening? Let me backtrack a little bit. He went missing on Friday the 30th in October. His body was found on the 2nd in Laurelville, which is in Louisiana, in a sugar field. However, his parents weren't told until I've heard a couple of stories. It wasn't until the 3rd or actually the 4th, the 3rd or 4th when his family was actually shown. Hold on, let me switch so you guys can see me. Okay. Can you guys hear me out there? How my internet doing? You know my internet be tripping. Yeah, it had to be something. You're right. It had to be something. And if you guys remember a long time ago, a lot of you started following me when I covered the Tamla Horsford story where she went to a party, she was the only black woman there. They stated that she fell over the balcony, but it was all like, okay, how she just fall over the balcony and how she injured herself. Well, her own family had to do their own autopsy to figure out like she had injuries after she already died. So that case hasn't been resolved. I still haven't got an update on that. And when I find out more information, I definitely will do another video on Tomla Horsford. But it's one of these situations where it seems like a cover up, like a national cover up that people are doing. And it's very sad because you think, especially during this time where, Black Lives Matter is so heavy and there's attention being brought to issues where for so long it's been shoved under the bridge, water under the bridge, and nobody has been able to talk about it. And now finally, we have a voice where we're able to speak up, and when something is not right, we can actually talk about it. Oh, okay, that's when you first started following me. Yes. So I wanted to play you guys just a little clip of the news story. Now, it has been played on local news, but it has not been picked up by mainstream media. The only outlets that we've seen talk about it was Essence and then a few other ones, but CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, no one has really talked about this case. So I just wanted to play you a little clip right now. Hold on, let me play it right now.
Family members of a 15-year-old boy found dead near Laurelville not buying the cause of death in the case. Family members say they were told Quawan Charles drowned. Now they want an independent autopsy. Quawan Charles was reported missing on Friday, October 30th.
Yeah, so that was just a little clip. For whatever reason, my clips aren't working. I wasn't able to post the whole thing. So as he stated that he went missing on the 30th, allegedly what happened was that he was picked, well, not allegedly, it's known that he was picked up from his friend who was 17, Quawan's 15. His friend picked him up. He was 17 with his mom, and then he went to their house. But the problem is that no one is doing an investigation on the mom and the son that picked them up. The Baldwin police, where Quawan is actually from, Baldwin, stated that they're doing an investigation to see why he left, not into what's going on with the family. The only thing that the family that picked him up that day, the only thing they're being told is don't leave town. So all they're being told is don't leave town. They're not being suspected for any murder or anything like that, even though they were the last people who seen him. they're not being suspected of anything. And it's just crazy to me because where have you heard, like, if you're the last person to see somebody alive, wouldn't you think that would be suspect number one? And all they were told was, don't leave town. Something is just not right here. And it's weird because Quawan's mother actually got a phone call from a neighbor, well, not a neighbor, a friend of the people that were suspected to last seen Quawan. So I wanted to go ahead and play you what she said because it's very heartbreaking.
But he did say whenever they picked up your son, him and his mother, and the stepdad were all tripping, they had did some mushrooms. Those ones that are poisonous or whatever, they make you trip out or whatever.
Oh, Lord, yeah.
Well, they were all on mushrooms, not your son. I'm talking about Dave. So when we got there, he left. He said, oh, but he don't know anybody. So, he like kept changing his story. Well, and then the mother, my son went to get in her car, but it smelled strong like.
All right, so there's actually another part to
that. It smelled strong like bleach. And she told my son, she said, you can't smoke in the car because we bleached it.
Oh.
And then from what I can understand, he told my son that they found your son's body in a sugarcane field behind their house.
Oh.
So it's like they bleached the core because they used the core to go hide the body, your son.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
So that was someone who had actually contacted Quawan's mother. Now, what ended up happening was that she didn't, a little bit more of the clip, she didn't want to say like her son's name, and she didn't really want to give her name at all because this is a murder case. I don't care if they say, oh, he drowned. This is a murder case. I don't, as you know, in the picture that I showed for this video, it's covered up with the red stop sign because if you guys Google it and look at the image, it reminds you of Emmett Till. That's how scary this is. It's so just the image. You won't. I'm not one of those people that say like, oh, I can't look at images, like I get like a bad picture in my head. You know what I'm trying to say? Like I can look at the most disturbing things, but in this case, I cannot look at the photo. It's horrible. And as soon as you Google it, boom, the photo's right there. Every time I hear the stories of Quawan, my body shivers. I'm just going back reading your comments real quick. I'm just catching up, y'all. Okay. What's up, Katrina? Okay. I don't want to talk too much because I don't know this video to be flagged, but now is the time to check people's auras. Yep. You're right. The mom and the 17-year-old need to be in jail. Yes. And the thing is, because like everyone's saying that this is a cover up, allegedly. And I have to say allegedly, even though I have to say allegedly to protect myself. It's disturbing because why wasn't an Amber Alert sent out? Why wasn't the police heavily looking for Quawan? Why wasn't why wasn't the family contacted on the second when they found the body? They're contacted the following day, and knowing that the Baldwin police, where they actually live, said like their hands are tied and they're not going to do anything about it. That's what really disturbs me about this case as well too. He looks so innocent and he probably never had been around bad people. Yes. What I'm picturing, because I actually asked a friend, like, hey, do you know anything about this story? Or have you ever been in the city? And she really didn't know anything about it. So I'm suggesting, I did look up Baldwin between Laurelville. They're about 24 miles away from each other. So these are real small towns. And, when you live in like these places like the South, like there's like for Georgia, for example, like Atlanta, everybody says Atlanta, but they really live in another city like Conyers and stuff like that. Like they're so far spread apart. And I believe that's how Louisiana is. It's so far spread apart. Oh, we got a guest on the line. I'm about to bring somebody on right now in the investigation of the cops and detectives. Yep. Definitely that. His face looked like it was burned a little, and maybe that is just him being left there for so long. Yes, because if they didn't find him to the second and he went missing on the 30th, they probably already been trying to cover it up. And as I played you that clip with the mom, she said like her son got in the car and it smelled like bleach, like they were trying to clean it up. Yeah, not mattering to the police. Yep. All right, I'm gonna bring a guest on. Tiff, you live, baby. We live.
Hi, people. Hello, AT2.
Hey, thank you for joining the show. I was just going over the backstory on what happened in this case, and is there anything in particular you would like to add on to it? I played the clip of the friend of one of the parents' mothers, talking to Quawan's mother and basically saying like it seemed like they were on shrooms and like they had bleach in the car, almost like they were trying to clean out the car because of the murder.
Oh my God. I only know of this case of that little boy, that poor little boy. I only know of the case via social media, and then it got picked up through like small media outlets. The bigger outlets have not reported anything about it yet, and
Yeah,
I don't know the ins and outs of everything. I didn't even know they talked to anybody else. So I was looking for information before I came on here, but I was out and about, so I didn't have time to really dive into it and look at it. But just from the picture alone of that little boy that's being shared around social media, the way that the media structured it is the boy drowned. That's what they
hmm
said happened to him. And I'm like, I've never seen a drowning victim look like that. He looked like he was laying in the dirt somewhere for quite some time. And
right,
his face was disfigured. It wasn't quite like Emmett Till's face because Emmett Till was unrecognizable. But
right,
I do hear that name being thrown around a lot. And the thing is, I know that this always goes back to racial things, but this could be somebody that was close to him that did this to him. And they just need to do a thorough investigation and find out what happened to the kid. I don't understand why that's so difficult to do. I'm not clear on, and then they don't give you all the details. They only give you pieces, and then they wonder why the world is always in such unrest. And it's like, just tell us the truth.
right,
Just tell us the truth. Do a proper investigation. And it sometimes it do go back to race, but not necessarily with the crime. It goes back to race when it comes to the investigation and how it's conducted. Because I don't believe for a minute if it was a young white man who was murdered like this. This boy was brutalized. There's no way that would go unchecked unless
right.
they just absolutely didn't have no evidence to prove that something happened to him. You know what I'm saying? Because that does happen. There are cases where they're not solved. But this right here, I don't feel good about this kid in this
And
case at all.
you know who the family is. You know, like they actually know, like this is the family that's responsible for it. You know what I mean?
That's even worse. And I'm at the point now where I feel like when it comes to the police, there are certain levels of how the police operate, right?
hmm
So when you look at how the police operate, there's always local police. Local police, even in small towns, when they don't have enough resources, they're supposed to outsource to either the neighboring town for help, or they
Right,
call in the FBI for homicide cases. And the FBI will send out one or two agents to go and handle a homicide investigation. At least that's how it is presented when you look at it. Okay. So if that's the case, then why didn't they just outsource the help? If the police didn't have the resources to do what needed to be done, which I'm assuming is because it's a small town they live in, most of the time there are not a lot of resources allocated to all aspects of them.
hmm
So it's like, why not allocate to people who can do what needs to be done? And everybody should be treated fairly. This is a 15-year-old boy. This is a little
right.
boy that's dead. Now, when that, I'm not trying to compare shit, but let's just keep it real. When the little white boy was shot by that black man, we all knew who
Cannon.
killed him. We
hmm
all knew who killed him. Well,
Within 24 hours, he was arrested. It wasn't no, oh, we need to do a thorough investigation. Let's not, let's not do preconceived notions without. No, it was he was arrested. We knew he was a bad guy. We knew he shot that kid, and that was it. Katrina actually did bring up something. I forgot to mention it. The Iberia Parish actually picked it up. So they're going to do the investigation on this, and I guess that's the next town over. But she stated that's a pretty small town too. It's in
that's what I'm
Louisiana.
saying. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, I understand that resources are small. It's difficult. You can't do everything in one space. But if you can't do it, then I know they outsource to the neighboring town, but that's why the FBI is supposed to be there. That's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed
right.
to handle the homicides that are either federal or the homicides that can't be taken care of within the city. They're supposed to do that. That's why there's a FBI bureau or a CBI, a GBI. That's why there's something everywhere in every major city, because that's what they're supposed to do.
Right. I was thinking the state could even take it over. Thank you guys for tuning in. I see you guys coming in the room. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. And the reason why sharing is important is because there's no coverage on this. So really the only people you have are TikTokers, YouTubers, and people on social media talking about this. And if we can make some change happen, then that's what it's really all about. If we can make some noise and get people to really watch and see, that would be awesome. So it's very important you guys share this. What's up, Katrina? Thank you for joining the
What's up?
show.
Hey, is my sound working?
Yeah, you sound good.
Okay. I'm like, I have my headphones on. I missed like the last like 30 seconds while I was trying to call in. No, like in Louisiana, parishes, or I guess they're like counties. Like I guess we call them counties
Hmm.
everywhere else, but the whole thing is like they seem to brush it off. I'm just still keeping hope at this point that the reason they're not releasing that much information is because it's open. But it's just kind of wild that the family had to pay for a second autopsy. Like maybe he did drown, but did he drown at, nefarious circumstances, or was he out there swimming? Like that's what we don't really have an answer to.
Right.
Like, you can drown, but does that mean somebody drowned you? Like, because there's
Mhm.
means and manner, or yeah, means and manner, method and manner of death. So like say
Mhm.
manner of death was drowning, but then they have to determine was it accidental, suicide, or homicide.
I never been to a sugar field before, but I didn't know it was like water there, That's what's confusing. And according to the woman that called Quawan's mother, said like the sugar field is behind their house in Laurelville. So that automatically makes me think like, okay, well if he happened to go missing near their home, why aren't they in jail, and why they were just told not to leave town. That's all they were told, just not to leave town. Did you get to hear the clip that I played?
Um, was it in the last minute?
Yeah.
No, I didn't hear that. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, it's okay.
I
Let
was
me go
logging
ahead and
in.
play it, and then I'll go ahead and get your opinion on it.
But he did say whenever they picked up your son, him and his mother, and the stepdad were all tripping. They had did some mushrooms. Those ones that are poisonous or whatever, they make you trip out or whatever.
Oh, Lord, yeah.
Well, they were all on mushrooms, not your son. I'm talking about Dave. When we got there, he left. He said, "Oh, well, he don't know anybody." So he like kept changing his story. Well, and then the mother, my son went to get in her car, but it smelled strong like bleach. And she told my son, she said, "You can't smoke in the car because we bleached it."
Oh.
And then from what I can understand, he told my son that they found your son's body in a sugarcane field behind their house.
Oh.
So it's like they bleached the core because they used the core to go hide the body, your son.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then it's
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
so that was the clip of the lady. Yeah.
I mean, I'm just really hoping that they're just investigating this, because they sometimes too have to look at the family. I mean, I hate to say this because of course they've suffered an unimaginable loss. Like sometimes they have to look at them
Right.
too, like they could be potential suspects. And the thing about arresting somebody, like if you don't have enough to charge them or you detain somebody, you have a certain number of hours before you have to release them if you're not going to charge them with something. So if they don't have enough
Mm.
information yet to determine who did it, like they can't just go through and arrest everyone in town or, you know, everyone that knows him. Um, if like, let's say their time limit for that state is like 24 hours is the longest you can hold someone without charging them. And they don't have the information within that time, they run out of things that they can use while questioning that person.
Oh, that's a way to look at it. Yeah, you're right. Because I was
Yeah.
even thinking like was there like any kind of like warrant or anything, like, hey, can I search your home or can I search your car? That's what I would think,
Mm,
because like, okay, they picked them up and then brought them back to the house. Like, was the house searched at all? Like, it's so much information, we don't even know what they did. And before you had joined, I had mentioned Tamala Horsford, her story about when the black woman that went to the party in Georgia, she was the only black woman
mm,
there, and then they stated that she fell over the balcony. Everybody was asleep. She was the last one up. She fell over the
yeah.
balcony, but then they had to do their own autopsy and find out that no, actually, she had injuries after her death, because I forgot what the term is, but they found out more information, and now finally it's being investigated by the GBI, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. So I'm hoping something like that, where Louisiana, the state, actually picks this up and actually look into it, because it just sounds like a cover up to me, or maybe they just. I don't want to say like, oh, they don't have the resources so they can't do it. Like you were saying, like they can reach out to the next county or the next city, and get help that way.
Yeah. I mean, like that whole area, I looked at it on the map and you can just tell it's like all fields and these tiny towns. Maybe they have to go to the state really at this point because that whole area kind of looks like they don't have much funding to do. I mean, a lot of the things with crime scene investigation is like you need labs and scientists and things that, people that are
Thank
families
you,
like
Faye.
Kawan's family, like they deserve answers, you know. And if this town just doesn't have a lab, maybe they just have one coroner with a microscope and, like it's really unfortunate. And I'm not giving them any excuses because they need to reach out for those resources.
Right. Right, definitely. And there has been a lot of groups out there. I think the group was called like Black Voices or something like that. That's been out there protesting, really trying to make noise, and really trying to get people out there like, hey, something is wrong. Like, we need y'all to really look at this, because it's one of those things, like they say, like they're gonna do an investigation and then they just hope everybody shuts up and forget about it, because us as people, and I'm not just saying us as black people, like everyone have such a short attention span, we forget about
Yeah.
everything. You know, it was kind of like earlier in California where I live, where those mysterious hangings were happening, and it's all like, whoa, like, why are these black men hanging themselves just randomly? And necessarily they weren't in the same city, but they were in the same area as far as like the desert. So it was just
Oh
very
yeah.
weird to me. I actually talked about that, like, you know I'm not ignorant in saying that black people don't commit suicide, but to do it publicly, and especially hanging, it just doesn't seem right to me, you know?
And all kind of in a span of time. It
Yeah,
like they were all kind
exactly.
of like same area, same manner, same race, same way. Like, I mean, there's serial killers out here. They go on tour, like
Right. They really do.
they don't stay in one
That
area and just do one neighborhood.
mhm. It's they're not just going to just hit up one, like you said, they're just not going to hit up one area and be all like, oh, okay, well, I'm done, and then all of a sudden they're going to hit up another area. Like, it's all, they move around, like it's not all going to be in the same area. So of course, they're not going to make it look like it was the same person who did it, but we know that something just doesn't sound right, because hearing the stories from the family and stuff like that, they really let you know like what kind of person the victim is. That's where you really get a
Yeah.
sense of like okay, this is how they are. So I don't think they would do something like this, you know? If they said, thank God for social media, we can keep up with stuff and riot online. In today's time, we cannot afford to let things go. Yes, because
Right.
I would never have heard about this if it wasn't for social media, you know?
Yeah. When you
Did you
talk
hear
about
about the
like
story
the
before I brought it to you or no?
oh no, I didn't. You told me like, one of the earlier days, and it was like just the briefest details. Every time you tell me about something, I'll go and research it. Um,
Right.
but a little, just a tiny bit more has come out, which is just more about like Quawan and his personality, and more statements from his family. And he just sounded like an innocent kid. Like, they said he was just kind of quiet, kept to himself. Like, he didn't sound like a troublemaker kid. Even the woman on the recording, like she was like, your son wasn't doing any drugs.
Right. Your son
Like
wasn't doing any drugs. And
that's just so
Tiff
weird.
made a good point. Like sometimes you don't want, especially as us, we don't want to bring out the race card all the time because automatically people get defensive and then they don't want to listen. But sometimes you got to call a spade. And it doesn't seem that if this was like a little white boy or a little white girl that they would just let this go. You know, like race has to play a part in this. And I don't think the family would just attack a random white family considering that Kawan's stepdad is white. So it's not like they're just going to blame it on white people
Oh,
just because, you know?
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
It's
his stepfather is white. So, you know, you can't say, oh, they're just trying to blame it on white people or anything like that. No, it's not the
no.
case. You know, his stepfather is white. So, you know, it's how can you look at the story and then think like, oh, he just happened to go swimming in a sugar field. Like I said, I'm not familiar with sugar fields, but I don't think you would go swimming in a sugar field. That sounds like it would be swampy to me, you
Like
know?
tons of mosquitoes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's muddy. Like that's not a place that you really. They haven't even said if he went swimming. They didn't say like how he was found or like. There's also been inconsistencies because some stories say a creek, some say in a field, and even the family saying that they're getting different situations, and
Hmm.
like or different scenarios of what happened, and the news is getting a different scenario. What's wild to me is like, I mean, of course, like I don't know. I just know what I see on TV. But it's like in these little towns, isn't that where everybody comes together and they form a search party and they all go walk around in their boots in the mud
Right.
and look like all together? But that didn't happen for him, you know?
Yeah, why wasn't there like a search party, you know? That would have been a thing where, you know, the community gets out there, looks, see like, okay, what's going on? You know, why haven't we heard from the family that just that last seen him? Like why haven't they made a statement like, "Oh, you know, he had left our house afterwards and you know, stuff like that." Like why haven't we heard anything from them? Because if I'm innocent and I knew like I was one of the last few people who see my friend, I'm gonna be out there trying to help. Like, oh, let's help find them. You know, I'm gonna give as much information as I can. The fact that there's silence from them and we don't know any statement from the family except they picked them up and brought them back to the house and that's it. Like, come on now.
Yeah. It's kind of weird too. I mean, like, I don't know if it's true or not. I read in, I think, the Essence article and the Roots article that, like, he kind of snuck out the house. I mean, I don't want to say it like that. Like he was doing, it was like 3 in the afternoon. Like, what was he doing so
Mhm.
bad? But it's like, those precious moments really matter as far as like, uh, finding as fast as possible. And it's like they didn't have the help that they really should have had, you know?
Oh, it's okay, Tiff. Yeah, I was also thinking like, you know, the way they said like they're gonna look into like the family and stuff like that as far as like Kwan's family, I was thinking like I don't think it's not common for a 15-year-old boy to be by himself because 15 like you're kind of not that you're an adult but you're kind of independent like and this
Yeah.
was during the daytime, you know, it wasn't like late at night, you know, as far as I seen it wasn't like late at night. You said like around 3, it wasn't like late at night. So yeah, for a 15-year-old boy to be out by himself like that doesn't seem random. And like also they said there was I read also somewhere, and this is where we go where it's so inconsistent, that he was actually at a football game, and then that's how
Oh, he
this
actually
whole
did
situation.
go?
Yeah, that he did
Oh,
go to the football game. And then I heard like no, he didn't. So, either way, we know that whoever that family was that picked him up, we know that to be true because this is what that's been consistent throughout the whole thing.
I wonder if they ever even told the mother like who the family is, because their name have not been released, right?
No, I've just seen pictures of them online. But I just didn't want to put up the pictures because I don't know it to be true, and so I would hate to blame just random people.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah, I would hate just to blame random people, but their pictures are online now, especially on TikTok.
Oh
Like we
wow.
were saying, like you have to use TikTok, YouTube, or these smaller media outlets to find any information. It's kind of like, all right, what's really going on?
It should be national. I mean, like, our president's in hiding right now, so there's no news from him. Like, let
Right.
CNN talk about this. MSNBC can talk about this. It's so mysterious, like it sometimes journalism getting involved, a lot of times journalism getting involved will be the thing that cracks the case, because the police might not have the resources to go door to door, but journalists, it's literally their job to stalk you and harass you until you talk to them.
Stalk you, harass you. Yep.
Hmm.
They're the original TMZ, the
Right?
journalists,
Yeah.
you
Yes.
know. Uh,
And if they are at your house and you want them to leave, guess who you got to call? The police. And they're going
the
to come talk
police.
to you too.
Exactly. They're gonna ask you questions, but going back to the Tamla Horsford story, she died in 2018. The story didn't really get picked up until
Mm,
February of 2019, and then fast forward to after the George Floyd death, that's when the story started picking up traction, and that's when the state of Georgia picked up the case, and then now going to this story, it seems like we have to be our own defenders, and we have to put out our own news. So my thing is like, should there be like a black news media outlet? Because I don't think there
yeah.
is one except Roland Martin, and I haven't heard Roland Martin unfiltered talk about this story either.
Or at the very least, just a lot more representation in all media, at the very least.
Right.
But, I don't think there would be anything wrong with having a black run, national journalism channel.
Right. I definitely feel that there should be one. Maybe the funding is not there, but you can't tell me like a Jay-Z or a Beyonce, all
Oh,
these rich people.
Sean King tried to do it actually, and he took the money. He tried to do it.
What they call them, Malcolm
The,
X?
no, it was, yeah, that's what they call it. Talcum X tried to do it. Um, he he tried to name it the North Star after Frederick Douglass's. Frederick Douglass tried to do it, but he's,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
So Sean King had tried to, I guess, redo the North Star for like modern times, and he raised, this is going way off topic, raised tons of money and just never published anything, and nobody knows where the money went. Like,
Oh, you mean that mysterious money that he always gets that ends up missing? Oh, that.
yeah, that all the time.
Right. Faith
All the
says, I think
time.
there should be. I think there should. That way, black people can be focused on because it's clear that white media don't care about us. Yes,
Yeah.
I definitely feel like there should be our own news media. I'm not saying, and we talked about this earlier, Katrina. Not saying that Essence isn't credible or anything like that,
Yeah.
because if it wasn't for Essence, probably more people wouldn't even know about it.
Yeah. Essence, the root. I don't know. I still think though, like we need also, and maybe in addition to that, like just more black representation in the decision desks at these news
Yeah,
networks.
I was
Because,
just about to
like
mention that in the
sometimes,
decision desk.
yeah, sometimes these stories don't get anywhere until white people get involved. I mean, the show
Hmm.
Crime Junkies, they solve stuff like, and it's like a crime podcast, and it's like these two white girls from Indiana, and
Right,
they like
exactly.
They be solving crimes, like, for
Is that
real.
the one that goes on tour and stuff like that? The two white girls, they go on tour, they have a podcast and
I've only listened to the podcast, but I know they do live events sometimes, like
oh, okay, okay.
in
Yeah, they
arenas and
do.
stuff. I've never
I think
been
those
to
are the
one.
ones. Madame Noir, yeah, they're a media outlet too as well. Yeah, but everything is basically based online, and I hate to say that people don't pay attention to online, but our our generation is like if it's not on the shade room, it's not real news to us, and I hate that, you know?
Uh, well, they just need a team then to get it out there more. Like, their social media team can get out and do that. Because honestly, like, you can get a lot done on just the internet, like, and for so much more affordably than traditional media. A lot of people, I mean, I don't even have cable anymore. I have CNN because I have Sling, which I could get on my phone.
Right.
Like, it's this show is not sponsored by Sling.
Right, exactly. Faye said, AT, I hope in 10 years you have your own news media show. Hey, I'm trying to build a
Hey.
brand. I would definitely love something like that. It's with social media, like, you start out with one thing and then it branches off in other things. So I would definitely love to do that. I would definitely love to be a part of it. Anybody watching this, because it's always like, I get people after the fact that watch the video, after I go live. If anybody knows any media outlets that are trying to get news out there, specifically black news media out there, please let me know, hit me up. My
Oh yeah.
Instagram is AT2 underscore for real. Please let me know if there is, because I would love to speak with them. I would love to partner up with them, any cases, any stories. Um, Anything that hasn't been talked about, I would love to put it out there, because this is the stuff that I like to do. And I'm gonna go back to the video a couple of videos ago about the Jaguar situation, because what it is, like, you think about those black YouTubers, right? Just imagine if those black YouTubers, like I was talking about Armand and Willie Vanilli, I was talking about Tasha K, there's Lovely T, all those black YouTubers, just imagine if they put that energy that they do into all that drama and bullshit that get them numbers. Just imagine if they talked about stories like these and what they could do. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
that's true. So they haven't mentioned this, or you haven't seen them say anything
I
about this story?
As of 12 p.m. Well, yeah, 12 p.m. today, I have not seen them mention
Mm,
anything about this story or do any posts about this. I actually don't think any like prominent black YouTuber has talked about this story,
that's really unfortunate.
It's
Like, they have
very
so much
unfortunate.
power.
Exactly. But
I'm
you
sure they
guys
have a
are
lot of
doing,
fans in that area too.
yeah, and I'm pretty sure people would love to hear about something like this. It's sad. If it doesn't involve Cardi B or anybody, they don't they don't want to report it.
Yeah.
True, drama sells though. Yeah. I know it. I know it
This is
sells.
pretty dramatic. Like, this is a
Exactly.
very,
I,
it's way
I
more
feel
important.
like this story sells, and the media loves to put black people versus white people. You would think they would have picked this up. That's why I'm actually shocked about this.
I don't know, it's Louisiana, they're conservative. Maybe they just feel like they don't want people to riot again.
Maybe, but I guess you gotta. What somebody said, sometimes you have to make good trouble. I think Joe Biden actually said that you have to make good trouble. Sometimes you got to make good trouble. Faye said a lot of YouTubers that want to focus on gossip media instead of serious black stories. Yeah, you know what? I hate this excuse that people use. And Katrina, I don't know if you heard this, but they say like, "Oh, I don't like to talk about politics. Oh, I don't like to talk about politics. Oh, I don't like to talk about politics." That shit irritates the fuck out of me, because for me, this has nothing to do with politics. This is real motherfucking life. Oh, I don't like to talk about politics. Oh, I don't like to talk
When you
about
say
Oh,
Black Lives Matter,
yeah,
I'm like, Black Lives Matter is not a political statement. It's a literal statement. Like, literally. I mean,
yeah,
like, hello, we matter, our lives matter. They're not
yeah.
mattering to y'all right now, but we're
Right.
telling you that
Our
they
life
should. Like,
fucking matters.
yeah, I
That's
don't know.
literally
I'm like,
what
it's
we're
not a
saying.
political, for you, it's a political statement. For us, it's lives and death, and life and death, literally. Like, I don't know. It's so weird to me.
Right.
Like, I
We
get it
have
if you don't want to talk about, the House of Representatives. You don't want to talk about, the majority whip and like, the parliament and stuff. Like, all right, you don't know that stuff, but come on now. This is somebody's life.
Right. I get it. I get it. If you, like you said, you don't want to talk about, the senators or like your local politics. I get it if you don't want to talk about that. But something where it regards like a black life or just somebody's life in general, you know, like why would you not want to talk about something like this and bring attention and
Yeah,
awareness to it, especially if you have, the 100K subscribers, you have the 250K subscribers, the 800, a million
yeah,
subscribers. Why would you not talk about this? And who cares if you lose subscribers? Say like, okay, you lose about 20,000 subscribers. At the end of the day, you're going to get 20,000 more if you're really a good person and you got your heart in the right place. You know what I mean?
yeah. It's just weird. It's weird because they are black YouTubers themselves. Like, I get maybe a lot of their audience might not be black. Maybe their audience is like half and half. And it's just weird because like white fans love black artists and black art and black actors and actresses and movies and all that stuff until it's not fun for them anymore. When you start talking about the real
Right.
shit
Until you
on
start talking about
your
the real
YouTube channel.
shit. you know said I think it's scary for them. They are afraid to lose the audience. Yep. Let me get through some of the comments right now. Fake drama, I mean, yeah, they love the fake drama. Just like I said in my last video, I was all like, it seems like the YouTubers, they call each other, be like, hey, let's start some shit, and then like all of a sudden they go back and forth, they go live at the same time. It's all planned, but then jealousy really plays a part, and then it turns into real drama. That's what I think with the YouTubers and stuff like that. Sorry about my spelling mistakes. Oh, don't worry about the spelling mistake. Like Cardi B fake divorce filing. Um, you just have to be brave and change the narrative. Yep, I agree.
Exactly.
Yeah, and Cardi B used a certain YouTuber to tell everyone about her fake divorce and clout chasing.
See, that's the other thing. So they always be having like an inside source of some kind, right? Like, can you pass information back to the like, hey, I'll drop this story if you get on Instagram, Cardi, and talk about Quawan Charles.
Right.
Like, and Cardi would because she cares about stuff like that, but she probably doesn't know either.
Yeah, she probably hasn't heard about this either. And, somebody probably hit her up in the DM, but she gets so many DMs. Like, how is she really supposed to pay attention to everything? Because I think that's another thing. We hold these people accountable for knowing like everything. And it's like sometimes you
Yeah,
just can't, unless it does pick up traction. Said, right, I feel I only want subscribers who can handle the content I put out. Yes, exactly. That's who you should want. If I lose them, then I didn't need them in the first place. Yeah, I agree.
absolutely.
I even said, like, I don't care if people know, what my views are, or what my politics are. Like, we can talk about it on the show. Like, I'm completely fine with it. But I was all like, I'd rather you know who I am than down the line I say something like, oh, I love Joe Biden. You'd be like, wait, I thought you were a Trump supporter. You always told me that you like Trump. Like, I never, first of all, this is a made up scenario
It's
because that's
totally
not
made up.
actually true. But it's totally a joke. But I want you to know everything about me. I want you to know that I stand for equality on all levels. I want you to know that I am a decent person. I want you to know those kind of things about me. I don't want you to know who I'm feuding with or who I hate or anything like that. That's another one of the reasons why I dropped the whole surviving Cowwood thing. It's still on my page, but I dropped it because I felt that okay, I already did, 4 episodes about it. I was like, okay, I'm done. I want to move on to something positive. I honestly, in my heart, have forgiven him for everything. At this point, it was a learning lesson for me. It was a learning lesson for everybody else. Let's go ahead and move on. So I realized that I shouldn't be wasting my energy on somebody like that.
Yeah, no,
But
absolutely.
I could drag that out, for clicks and views. But what's the point? Nobody cares after a while.
And then on your YouTube, you're just making him famous
Right, exactly.
because you're
Because
better
nobody
than
knows
him.
who the fuck he is. They know who AT2 is. Nobody knows who the fuck he is. So why am I gonna promote somebody that just doesn't do anything for me?
Yeah,
And that brings me to these YouTubers. It'll be great if they came together. Even I'll use you for example, Katrina. Even if we were like feuding or something like that online, and I seen the story, I would say like, "Oh, Katrina, I want to squash our beef real quick. Let's mention this. Let's talk about this." Even said, if we had beef, I would be all like, "Hey, can we talk about the story? Like I feel like we need to bring attention to this because nobody has been talking about it." Da 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 da. They have people that work for them that could reach out to Quawan's family and maybe have them on the show to talk about this, or something like that. I
yeah,
would love that opportunity if I could, or had any contact information where I could reach out to the family, be like, hey, is there any information that you can share with us? If somebody sees this, if his family sees this, please contact me. The real at2 at gmail.com, at2 underscore for real. Please contact me and let me know, because I would love for people to hear your story from your own words.
yeah, yeah. So they can just like have more than just these recycled quotes from. It's like the same quotes in every article. Like they only got it from one source. And maybe you know what,
Right,
the family too. They're grieving right now. They might not want to talk to the whole world. Like whenever they do have new information,
right,
it does seem like they come out and post it or share it. But if they're not getting anything new, they might just be tired of people being in their, in their phone, calling them, bothering them. Like they're trying to figure out. They're like in a place right now where they have to choose. Like, should we pay for the funeral or should we pay for another autopsy? Like they can't afford both. And like just from having like an experience of losing family members, like you can't just leave the body out forever. They have to bury him or something. But then they need
yeah.
this money. They need this investigation to happen, and who knows? It might come down to something just really tragic where they have to exhume him later. Like this is it's out of hand. Like the first 48 is no joke.
Right. That's the most important time. And you know what it is? Also, when this story, because I know it's going to pick up more traction, when this story does pick up, I don't want that damn Ben Crump, the person that was over Breonna Taylor and so many other cases, because all he's good at doing is just getting settlements and not fucking justice. And I'm not a lawyer, so I really can't speak on it. But I just hate how sometimes these people get on these stories and it's all like, are you there to really help? Are you there for a payday?
It can work both ways though. So what I was
Mhm.
actually reading about, this has to do more with like police brutality and stuff. So it's Ben Crump, Lee Merritt, he's the other one. Um,
Mhm.
yes, they are big shot lawyers, but one thing is like they're really good at talking to the media. So they bring more attention because cameras like them. They are very charismatic when they're on TV. They're good at riling people up. They have big social media followings. It can bring a lot of attention to something like this. They're good at raising money. Hopefully that money goes somewhere in a good way. Um, and then the other thing is, I don't know about this town in particular, but for a lot of small towns, when their police departments get sued, they don't even have the money to really pay it. They're insured. Like they have like insurance that covers these cops. And these lawsuits, if they keep happening over and over again in the same place, then the insurance can drop that police department. And that will
Oh,
really mess them up. So they're gonna actually eventually, after all these lawsuits, they are gonna start making changes. I mean,
okay.
unfortunately, in a town like where he's from, where it's a population of like 2,300 people, it's not going to really happen too often. But that's a lot of pressure on
Right.
them because if they get their insurance dropped, that's not good. The second they mess, they could run over somebody's dog in a crosswalk and it's gonna bankrupt them.
Exactly. It said my real life experience of going to Brunswick after Ahmaud Arbery's death was the eye opening to how things are for the family and the people in the community. The whole world can be fired up, but they are dealing with a whole different set of issues. Ooh, that's true. And shout out to Said. Make sure you guys go ahead and check out on YouTube. With that being said, Said is spelled CED like Cedric. He actually did have somebody go to actually he did too. Go to Brunswick and actually talk about the Arbery situation. So definitely check out that. It was a different perspective seeing it like from someone we know actually go out there and actually look into that. And and like said was saying, like, I can't imagine for the family how it is really dealing with this. Like, all of a sudden you're trying to grieve, but you have all the media there, like there's like tons of media, there's people in your face, there's people, trying to get information out of you, trying to figure out what's going on. You have allegations, you might even get death threats because you do have sickos out there. You know what I mean, Katrina? Like, can you
Yeah.
imagine that for the family?
I cannot imagine it. There's an element of race, and it's just such a crazy time in our country right now too. And just not everybody is like, like Ahmaud Arbery's mother, for her to have the strength to get up there and be as composed, as she's been. Like we saw a lot of her over the summer and in the spring and stuff, but not every person is, able to talk in front of cameras even when they're not grieving.
Right.
Like, for not everybody can get out there and do what she's doing. It makes a difference. It moves people. Just the crying mother. Like, at least every woman can relate to that. Like, I don't even have kids, but it breaks my heart. Like, it's like nobody wants to bury their child. Or fathers too. Everybody with a soul can just look at a crying mother and be like, we have to do something now. This is wrong.
Exactly. I feel like if you have a heart or just human decency, it affects you when you see a crying mother, a family so distraught, a family that can barely speak because they're just like, I can't believe this is happening,
Yeah.
I feel like that does make a big difference. Knowing what we know, the little that we know about this case before, like, we wrap up, like, is there any hope that you would have, like, for, this family, for Quawan Charles, as like far as like an investigation, or just for us just to get answers,
I do. I haven't looked at the GoFundMe again because it's got the pictures. I hopefully, like, money can be raised if it gets more national traction in a reasonable amount of time. They can pay for that independent autopsy, and usually those will turn up a lot more information than whatever little small town coroner. It's just very unfortunate that a lot of evidence has to do with the condition of his body when he was found. He's out. It's still warm down there. He's in the heat. Like, there's evidence that's going to degrade over time, even if it's just 3 days, just because the temperature and the water and stuff like that. But it's also going to be, like, unfortunately, no amount of money can really make the police ask better questions or, do better. Like, I guess maybe the independent autopsy, if it's found that it was a homicide, that'll give the police enough evidence to get a warrant, either for arrest or for search. I don't know what they need for, like, a search warrant for the house, but that should have been done. But obviously this family's been cleaning up, so that's a little worrisome to me.
Right. I'm sorry to start smiling. It's just like your camera's going like in and out, and like you're
Is
doing like
it
this weird shaking thing, like you're having
like
convulsions.
this, or
And so
is it like the camera, or is it like me moving my
it's like,
iPad?
I think it's your internet, because
Man.
it's going like that,
Oh
and
no.
and like, I know we're trying to be serious.
Oh no, it looks fine on my end. Oh, that's so bad. Oh, that's so bad. Dang, I have like a lot of devices connected here.
Oh, is that
Did it
what it is?
just freeze? I don't know if it
No,
just
like
froze or
it's still
what.
doing the shaking thing. Like I'm all like, what the hell is going on?
I don't know. I'm looking at it on YouTube and it looks like I'm just frozen, but
Oh, it just looks frozen. Oh, okay, on my end it's doing this. It could be me. Shit, I don't
it could
know.
be both of us.
Right,
I
it could
don't
be both.
know.
I'm doing this too, and like everybody all like, what the hell's going?
I don't know. Lately my YouTube has been tripping my area. Like, you know, have you ever got on YouTube and it crashes and then it's like there's
Oh
a lot of
yeah,
usage in your area? And I'm like, they don't pay my bill. Like mine needs to work. I don't even have
right.
the cheapest internet. Like all I do is be online. So I need my shit fast.
And the other day YouTube crashed for like I think like 5 hours or something like that. It was crazy.
Dang, I was really trying to watch something at that time too. I remember.
Yeah, it crashed for like 5 hours. It was crazy. But to wrap it up, what I wanted to say is that I hope that this does get mainstream media attention. I hope in the future we do have like a black news media outlet that does bring attention to these issues and keeps it as a topic where it circulates. I also hope that these popular black YouTubers talk about cases like this, even if it doesn't fit their quote unquote niche or like their brand. Hopefully, they do start talking about situations like this and bring in media attention. Hopefully, shit, I blow up so I can start talking about this shit. You know, they
Yeah.
said, you know, she would like me to have my own like news channel or TV show. Like, I think that would be dope. And I just want to pray for, you know, Quawan Charles's family, you know, because I know right now they're
Yes.
hurting. Also, I'm going to go ahead and find that GoFundMe, and then I'm going to put the link in the description. If you guys want to go ahead and donate to them, please do, you know. Katrina, before we exit, is there anywhere they can find you at?
Oh, I got my at name down here. That's my name on everything. Don't look for me
Yeah.
on Snapchat because it's not there. That's not me. But I don't use it anyway. Whatever else, Katrina, that's it. I don't use TikTok like that either, but you can follow me there. Twitter is really where I be the most these days. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I'm right here on YouTube. I don't post anything there either. I only post on Twitter.
Yeah, really, Twitter is like your thing.
Yeah, I like talking shit. So.
And y'all know you can go ahead and find me on here. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Any more information you guys find out, please let me know. I'll definitely do an update video on this. Also, you know, you guys know that I always try to put factual information. So anything that I might have said or any of my guests might have said that's not right, please let us know. Let me know so I can definitely put on another video and correct the mistakes, because I don't mind you guys calling me out if I say something, or just, I shouldn't say call me out, correcting me on something if I say something that's not factual or not true. So Katrina, thank you so much for being a part of the
Thanks
show
for having
today. I
me.
appreciate you as
I hope our
always.
internets are working well.
With our internet.
Yeah.
See, I got everybody saying internet now. I need to
Yes.
take a shirt that say that. Internet.
Internet.
But you know I love you. Thank you for always being willing to be a part of the show. And yeah, I'm pretty sure if you hear anything or I hear anything,
For sure.
we'll do
We'll be
another
in
video
touch.
on this. So
Yes.
before I exit, I'm gonna go ahead and play the birthday commercial and then the outro, and then we out. Love y'all. Deuces. You're welcome to AT2's Dirty 2 live birthday celebration on December 18th at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Make sure you guys are there. Remember, the theme is grown and sexy, or you can just come naked. We're going to have special guests. It's going to be a countdown show. We're going to count down our favorite moments from the show. Also, don't forget, bring a drink, bring your weed, whatever you want to. We're going to have a good time. We're going to play Never Have I Ever. It's going to be so much fun. Thank you guys for joining me for my birthday, December 18th. Be there or be